Profe, buenas tardes, buenas noches ya.
Hola Jorge, ¿cómo va todo?
Profe, es que Xiomara manda a decir que ya demora unos 20 minutos en conectarse porque está en una reunión en la universidad.
Bueno Jorge, listo, thank you.
Bueno,
Okay guys, good evening. I was waiting a minute. Maybe you can hear a little bit, but the noise is already like far, a little bit away. Well guys, as usual, welcome to the first part of our session. We start working officially on Unit 2. The idea of Unit 2 is talking about memory. That is like the general idea of this unit. And tonight, our focus or our attention is related more to reading and speaking. Anyway, tonight, I also have in mind like a written exercise. Once again, having a look at some individual, output. We have been doing group work. Yesterday, we started doing an individual activity, an email that I hope that you finished writing. And tonight is going to be pretty much on the same line. But before we go to that part, guys, let me turn into Spanish because this is an administrative instruction. Ya yo les había comentado estos días que arrancábamos que la idea era que hoy ustedes me contaran de qué iban a hablar en su proyecto. Recuerden que este proyecto que ustedes van a realizar los va a acompañar, por decirlo así, desde este primer nivel del B1 hasta su eventual presentación que viene siendo en el nivel B1.5. Entonces, simplemente, aquí está el link. Igual ese formato está acá en, bueno, me devuelvo totalmente. En la carpeta como tal que tenemos de materiales, el link que les compartí el segundo día que arrancaba nuestro curso, acá en la sección que se llama Project First Advance. No sé por qué Valentina hizo una copia en Word del formulario como tal de la información del proyecto, pero bueno, no hay problema. Entonces, está la información en PDF, el Word, la versión en Word de Valentina y este Excel que simplemente tiene la lista con sus nombres. ¿Qué es lo que ustedes deben hacer? Simplemente colocarme acá el del tema del que van a hablar. ¿Listo? Eso es todo. La idea es que ustedes, yo les decía, que me empiecen a contar hoy, plazo máximo hasta el lunes. No estoy diciendo que entonces si no me dicen el lunes de qué van a hablar no pueden presentar, pero conocemos muy bien la dinámica de nuestro ciclo y como ustedes saben en la sesión número 8, en una de las franjas del primer bloque se asigna un tiempo para que ustedes pues empiecen a trabajar. También entiendo que por agenda quizás ustedes ya están empezando como a recolectar información o tienen aspectos todavía como en mente. Pero la idea es asignar siempre en cada uno de los ciclos tiempo para que ustedes vayan trabajando en lo que es el proyecto, además muy probablemente el tiempo que ustedes también le asignan de forma independiente. ¿Listo? No puede pasar del lunes porque si no, el martes me voy a ver obligada, por decirlo así, a colocarles un tema obligado. No puede pasar de la próxima semana. Entonces igual jugaré a recordarles al final de nuestro primer bloque, les recordaré el lunes, de tal manera que cuando ya lleguemos a la sesión del martes, todos tengan tema. Y bueno, también los invito quizás a que compartan este link en su grupo de WhatsApp para que lo tengan quizás presente. De pronto el domingo se les ocurre, como decimos, se les prende el bombillo y quiero hablar de ese tema, colocan ese tema entonces para que lo tengamos presente. Tenemos ya varios temas, ellos se lo van colocando. No se les olvide como el contexto, lifetime event. Listo, veo que se puede editar, entonces técnicamente no hay problema. Ok, entonces ahí va a estar el link. Igual si se pierde, porque cuando cerramos el bloque, realmente la sesión, sabemos que el chat se nos pierde. Ya está dentro de la carpeta de materials, entonces no se nos va a perder tanto como pensaríamos. ¿Listo? Coordinación. Bueno, ahorita les tengo que contar algo. ¿Sí? ¿Perdón?
Es con respecto a la actividad del proyecto, estuve revisando los dos últimos puntos del nivel. ¿Cuál es la diferencia de la presentación de los dos últimos niveles?
Vamos a mirar. Me sale muy chiquito, quizás esa es la razón por la cual tenemos otra versión. Permítame, abro el PDF. Es que sale muy chiquis, con razón. Realmente la propia presentación, Beatriz, es en el B1.5. En B1.4, lo que ustedes, perdón, deben entregar es el script. El script viene siendo como el guión o el libreto de lo que ustedes van a decir en el video. ¿Sí es? En el primero es como la información sin editar. El segundo ya es empezar a crear como esa ayuda visual. ¿Listo? Porque eventualmente la idea, pues me estoy adelantando un poquito, pero no, sé que no hay problema. La idea es que en el video no sea ustedes simplemente, digamos, cámara prendida hablando y ya. No, sino que ustedes tengan como una presentación de fondo. Quizás de pronto, como ustedes ya habrán hecho presentaciones así, usando varias herramientas. Quizás va a la presentación PowerPoint andando y ustedes van hablando. ¿Listo? No es solo hablando y ya. Entonces, de pronto, me imagino que la duda nace de ahí, sospecho yo. El B1.2 y B1.3 juega eso, a crear esa ayuda visual que ustedes van a presentar en su video final. mitad de la información en B1.2 y la otra mitad de la información en B1.3. Me parecía lo que hicimos durante nuestro primer proyecto en A2, que ustedes recuerdan que dividimos la información en dos partes. El primer set de información hicieron la presentación y luego en el otro ciclo terminamos de completar esa presentación. Miremos acá. Sí, Jorge. Ahí está, up to 3 minutes. Que viene siendo esa presentación propiamente oficial ya en B1.5, pero cuando ustedes estén creando ese script en B1.4, deben tener en cuenta que la duración es a 3 minutos. Como esta es individual, obviamente es menos cantidad de tiempo que nuestro primer proyecto que teníamos 8 minutos más o menos por pareja, grupos de a 3. Y pues nuevamente tratando de respetar los tiempos lo más posible para que nos alcance el bloque, que ya nos salió y casi que les robé como 2 minuticos más. Entonces necesitamos ir muy a la fija. Pero sí, bueno, muy pertinente la pregunta de Beatriz. Tener en cuenta qué es lo que vamos a estar realizando en cada uno de los niveles del B1. Por el momento, lo que vamos a estar trabajando eventualmente en nuestra sesión número 8, que viene siendo la del 16, viene siendo la... Si tengo bien esa la cuenta, tengo que rezar. Que viene siendo referente a recolectar la información. ¿Información de qué? Para de pronto las personas que ahorita acabaron de ingresar. Ya oficialmente les compartí como la lista, es donde están sus nombres, donde ustedes me van a decir cuál es ese live event del que van a hablar. ¿Listo? No puede pasar del día martes, por favor, para que lo tengan presente, para que ustedes escojan el tema. Entonces, para que lo tengan ahí. También les dije, ojalá en lo posible compartan este link en su grupo de WhatsApp. Igual ustedes tienen el acceso ya a este documento en nuestra carpeta de materiales. ¿Ok? Esa era la duda, Beatriz.
Sí, Miss.
Ok.
¿Hay algún problema si, digamos, alguien elige el mismo evento que uno?
No, Valentina, no. Porque al final del día, nuestra percepción de cómo vivimos el evento siempre será diferente. Puede ser que sean muchas graduaciones, pero serán de diferentes programas. Digamos, el proceso para llegar a esa graduación es diferente. Incluso las personas que nos acompañaron a ese evento, así sean todas graduaciones, estoy segura que todos van a presentar una perspectiva diferente a cómo vivieron ese día. Entonces, diferente al deporte. El deporte sí que aburrimiento haber escuchado fútbol 5 veces, ¿no? Aquí no hay problema. Okay. Actually, Kiara, I haven't done that yet. Estábamos solventando algunas dudas referente a lo que es el tema del proyecto, lo que tenemos que ir presentando a medida que van avanzando los ciclos. Recuerden que acá en nuestro formato como tal, ese es el formato que vamos a estar trabajando desde el B1.1 hasta B1.5 para que tengan muy pendiente qué vamos a hacer en cada uno de los ciclos. Entonces, oficialmente, hasta ahora es que voy a tomar asistencia. ¿Listo? Oh my God, it's 6:14. Karen Victoria Acevedo. Okay. Steven Santiago Fonseca.
Present.
Okay. That was better volume. Sergio David Gómez. No está por ahora. Perdón. Kiara. Okay, Kiara. You are next. Thank you for letting me know in the chat. Jorge Jair Moreno.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Natalia Navarro.
Present.
Okay. Diego Fernando Olarte.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Dana Valentina Ortiz.
Present.
Okay. Manuel Ortiz. Not here for the moment. Joan Sebastián Pavón. Okay, in the chat. Beatriz Pedraza.
Present, Miss.
Okay. Hamilton Peña.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Good, Hamilton. Xiomara Caterina. Bueno. Jorge ya me contó. Jessica Paola Ríos.
Present, teacher.
Ok. Caterina Alexandra Rodríguez.
Present, Miss.
Ok. Marlon Yesid Sánchez. I think I saw Marlon. Marlon, veo que su micrófono está abierto, pero no lo escucho. Ok, that you are in the chat, sí. Definitivamente puedo decir que no lo escuché. Ok. Mendy Fabián Santa.
No quieren que les...
Teacher present.
Ok. Let me see the chat in a moment. Manuela says that she is here. Okay, I hope. Manuel Alberto Sepúlveda. Hello, espero que los micrófonos ahorita funcionen. María Alejandra Vega.
Present, teacher.
Okay, and Vanessa Zambrano.
Present, teacher.
Thank you, Vanessa. So for the moments, the ones that are not here are Sergio David. And I already know what happened with Xiomara. And I think that Santiago is having problems with his connection. Sorry. Okay. Well, guys, as I was telling you today, we're going to officially begin our unit 2. Let me share the whole screen. Xiomara is here now. Well, I adjust the attendance in a moment. Unit 2 is talking about memory. Tonight, we will be working on pages 16 and 17 from our book. Let's have a look at the different topics that the unit is going to offer in this case. In terms of grammar, we will be talking about past simple and past continuous. Also, we will be talking about used to and would, everything in the context of past. In terms of vocabulary, we will be talking about childhood and upbringing, remembering and forgetting. The task is about describe a personal memory. And finally, the word culture, flashbulb memories. Somehow we can think or we can assume that this task, it is related to the activity that we have as our final project, talking about a lifetime event. It is a little bit connected to the personal memory. Let me see the chat. Okay, Xiomara, thank you. Jorge had already told me the reason why you were absent. I will adjust the attendance in a moment, okay? But Jorge already shared the information. So, as I was telling you, today it is more related to reading and speaking. So before we have a look at the reading that we have, I'm sure that you already noticed this part, we are going to do the first activity that we have on our book, but we're gonna do it through a Mentimeter. Let me send you the link to the chat as usual. I'm gonna ask you 2 questions. Let me send it. Question number 1 is very simple, you know, like from your opinion, from your perspective, do you think you have a good memory? Yes or no? As simple as it is. Of course, on our second question, we're going to expand a little bit on that, but I would like to know from your opinion before we read our text, if you think that you have a good memory, okay? Remember that you click on the link, only 2 possibilities. Hay un micrófono abierto, no sé si hay alguna pregunta.
¿Qué cosa?
Lo voy a cerrar. Por si las moscas. Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple of minutes, guys, for you to decide if you have a good memory or not, and then we will move to question number 2. Let's see.
Miss, can you see the link again, please?
Sure. Let me send it. There you go. Okay, we have 10 answers out of 2019. Thirty seconds left. Okay, let's use percentage. You know, it looks more elegant. So we can say that 75% of you guys consider that, yes, that you really have a good memory. And 25% of you consider like, not really. We'll see. On the second question, guys, what you're going to do is to rank the following aspects. Being number 1, what you remember easily, and number 6, what you remember with most difficulty. So in this case, let's say that the question changes a little bit. Let me refresh your memory how we do a ranking here through Mentimeter. So here we have the different aspects that are displayed. Names and faces, PIN numbers, passwords, etc. Facts and information, messages and arrangements, things that have happened long ago, things that happened recently. So as you see here, we have first, right? So let's say, for example, in my opinion, that for me, I remember easily things like facts and information. For me, that would be the easiest aspect to remember. Then there is a new box. Now, once again, I click on it and we have the list that is being displayed, but facts and information is not present on the list because I already use it. So now, once again, in my opinion, the second thing that I remember easily, like for me, it's not problem like to remember it, would be messages and arrangements and so on and so forth. Until you complete the 6 aspects that we have in our ranking. When you have already organized all of them, you click on submit. Okay, so remember, number 1 is what you consider, that is really easy for you to remember, like no problem. And number 6 from this list, of course, what you consider is a little bit problematic. I'm gonna give you once again, when actually in this case, I'm gonna give you a couple of minutes. Probably you need to decide. So let's see how good your memory is. 2 minutes starting now. Okay, guys, let's see how similar or different your answers are. So, of course, generally, well, 13 answers out of 19, faltan 6. ¿Dónde están los otros 6? But for the moment, what you consider is like easier. First of all, facts and information. Second, things that happened recently. And you consider that probably one of the things that are a little bit more difficult to remember would be PIN numbers and passwords. Yeah, actually, that tends to be a little bit complicated, things that have happened long ago. Well, guys, thank you very much for sharing your information. The ones that didn't send your answers, I hope that in a moment, in a minute, eventually you can share a little bit more. But now we're going to move to our book, okay? So remember, guys, that we're working on pages 16 and 17. Here we have some comments, that are related to memory. What we're going to do is to read them, and while we read them, I also want you to think, of course, I'm telling you the information from this instruction. If you have the same or not necessarily the same, but similar experiences to any of the speakers. So first, we're going to read, and then you guys are going to compare your life, let's put it like that, with these experiences that are being presented in here. Karen Victoria, could you read please the first quotation from Emilia?
Yes, teacher. I can't remember anything before I started school when I was 6.
Started. That would be it. What about the quotation from Alex, Santiago?
Yes, teacher. I'm not as young as I used to be, and I definitely think my memory is getting worse. I sometimes got into a room to look for something, but then I can't remember what I'm looking for.
That would be it. Vanessa, could you read the statement from Jasmine?
I can remember the holiday we had when I was there really clearly. It was the first time I went abroad. It was really exciting, but I can remember what I did last summer very well at all. Jasmine, 34.
Very good. And let's finish with Rosina. Could you read it, please, Maria Vega?
My grandma's dead now, but I have this really strange association with her. Whenever I smell ironic, I remember her. I think it's because she used to tell us stories while she was ironing.
Thank you, Maria. That's it. Well, guys, first, do you have any questions related to vocabulary from these 4 quotations that you have just read?
Yes, teacher, what does ironing mean?
Planchar.
Thanks.
Okay. Any other, guys? Okay. I'm gonna give you.
No, miss.
Okay, thank you very much. Once again, guys, I'm gonna give you 4 minutes to maybe reread these 4 quotations, and don't forget the original instruction that we have in here. If you have the same or similar experiences to any of the speakers. First, I'm going to ask some volunteers, to share the ideas. In case that we don't have volunteers, then I would ask you, of course, respectfully, to provide your opinion. Of course, I'm not asking you to agree on all the 4 quotations. The fact that you agree like to one, it is just okay. Remember, same or similar experience to any of these quotations that we have just read. So 4 minutes for you to think about it, and then we share ideas. 4 minutes starting now. Okay, guys, time's up. Remember that the idea is now to share your experiences, how similar or different they could be, of course, compared to what we have already read. So as I told you, first of all, I would like to know if any of you guys would like to volunteer to share your ideas about the quotations, how similar or different they are to your experiences. So you can raise your hand. Yes, Santiago, thank you.
Well, I have a similar experience like Rosina with the
Mhm.
smells. Results that my grand mom's house and smells to alcanfor is poison
Mhm.
for the cockroach, and well,
Cockroaches.
that smelled very much. So
Mhm.
each time that I feel this smell, well, I remember to the house of my grandmom. So
Your great grandmother. Ah,
my
okay.
great grandmother, yes.
Well, it's not a nice one, but that immediately triggers the memory. Okay, Santiago, thank you very much. Well, guys, any other volunteers? Santiago was sharing the Hamilton. Yes, what about you?
Teacher, my experience is similar to Emilia because I can't remember anything of my primary school.
Hmm?
My memories is only how do you say después, teacher, please?
After?
After
Hmm?
sixth, sixth grade is my memories in the school.
Okay, Hamilton, that's interesting. Well, actually, yeah, that happens a lot. Some people forget certain moments from primary school. Mhm. Okay. Any other volunteer? Before I start asking you guys. Well, I'm going to choose the volunteer then. Ah, okay, there is one hand, Catherine.
Yes, Miss. My experience is similar to um,
Yes, Catherine.
to Rosina,
Mm-hmm.
but it's happened with the face. I can remember important events that other people have told me just by looking at her face.
By looking at their faces. Okay, that's
Yes.
interesting. It doesn't matter how, let's say, far in time it is, like could be from, I don't know, 10 years ago or a year ago, or that also is like relevant to how much you remember.
It's relevant, Miss.
Okay, so my question in this case, Catherine, sorry, is do you remember the faces from long time ago or only like the recent faces? Let's put it like that.
Long ago, actually, is
nice.
people that told me about important events for her, for them,
For them.
for them, and I just like remember see her faces.
By seeing their faces. Okay, Catherine, interesting. Thank you very much. Well, any other volunteer? I'm gonna ask two more, okay? Because anyway, don't worry, I'm gonna ask a lot of things tonight. So I'm just like, let's say, dividing the questions that I'm going to ask you guys. Manuel, what about you?
Well, teacher, I, oh, for me, it happens like very similar to Alex, but it's not this. It's not exactly the same. I go to some place looking for something, or sometimes looking at my phone for something, and then I get distracted, and sometimes I can't remember what I'm doing or what I'm looking for. Sometimes. Also, I can say I have some kind of associations, maybe with some smells, but I don't really know what the smells are, but I can remember maybe some feelings that I had when I was a child. Yeah, that's very similar what happens with Rosina and her grandma.
Okay, Manuel, nice. Thank you very much. And one more. I would like to ask Manuela. Sorry. I don't know, Manuela, you already managed to fix the microphone issue. No. Okay, Manuel. Don't worry. Well, Vanessa is gonna help us then.
Teacher, my experience is similar to Rosina because I usually remember my dad with smell, olores, ¿se dice así?
How do you, could you repeat? A smell of what?
Smell, olores, ¿sí?
Smells, yes. Olores.
Or some of the situation that I lived with him. I usually remember him by smell of like the sea or river, because it took me as women. Or situation like I ride a bike because he told me to ride. Él me enseñó a manejar.
He taught me to ride a bike.
To ride a bike. Yes.
Okay, Vanessa, thank you very much. Those are nice memories. Let me write down. Me enseñó. Taught me to ride the bike. Thank you very much for those memories that you share as well, Vanessa. Well, guys, officially now we're going to read the article that we have, which is like the core of tonight's session. Remember that today is more reading related. And the title says, The Secrets of Your Memory. Here we're going to read 4 answers that this expert, Professor Jemina Griasnov, answered about common questions related to memory. We're going to read the questions all together. In this case, I am not going to send you to breakout rooms because actually the activity to be done collaboratively is going to be analyzing this information. As you can imagine, of course, I'm going to ask for you guys to help me reading each of these paragraphs. The first question that was asked to Professor Jemina says, why can I remember events in my childhood, but not what happened last week? Diego, could you read the first answer, please?
Why can I remember events in my childhood, but not what happened last week?
Could you read the paragraph, Diego, please?
Yes, teacher. We remember the things that have strong connections for my mind, in our mind, excuse me, especially emotional connections. Childhood memories are often very emotional. We experience things for the first time, so we have strong feelings or fear or excitement. Relating events also helps to fix them in our memories, and interesting or funny stories from our childhood are often told again and again.
Okay, Diego, thank you very much. Just keep in mind the pronunciation, childhood. That would be it. So here we have question number 1. Basically, the strong the connection is, of course, we recall it way better. Question number 2 says, do some people really have a photographic memory? Mandy, are you driving or you can read?
No, teacher, I am not driving right now.
Okay.
Okay, it is well known that some people have an extraordinary memory. Daniel Tame, for example, can remember the first 22,500 digits of P, and Stephen Weitzchart can draw a detailed picture of a city from memory after flying over in an helicopter. However, neither Daniel nor Stephen have a photographic memory. They are good at remembering particular things for a limited time. A person with a photographic memory could remember every detail of a picture, a bird, or an event many years later. No one has yet proved that they have a photographic memory in a scientific test.
Proved. Mandy, could you read this number again?
22,500?
And the 1,000.
5,000.
5,000? No.
500.
22,500.
22,500.
Yeah, I thought that I didn't listen, but you missed the 1,000 when you read it. That would be it. Thank you very much, Mandy. So maybe this could be a kind of discussion. Some people actually do believe, like strongly feel about it in terms of photographic memory, but according to this expert, it's just remembering, very specific detail for a certain amount of time. Let's have a look at question number 3. It says, is computer memory better than human memory? Kiara, could you read the answer, please?
Is computer memory better than human memory? And that depends what you mean by better. Information in a computer is stored in separate pieces. Human memory is stored in a different way. Each piece of information is connected to many other pieces. That's why a particular smell can bring back memories of a holiday or a person. The problem with human memory is that it is messy and not very accurate. The problem with computer memory is that it can't make connections between pieces of information. It isn't creative.
Kiara, thank you very much. Creative, the pronunciation, and also here when we're talking about that it isn't connected. Just like to make sure, guys, do you remember the meaning of this word, messy? What would be a synonym?
Perezoso.
Perezoso, no.
Disorganized.
Disorganized. That is like the idea of not organized. That would be a good way to put it out. So once again, comparing how memory is storage, how information actually is storage. In conclusion, our brain is a little bit messier with all the connections that we have, while in the computer, although it is organized, there are not real connections among the pieces of information that is being stored. Of course, I'm just paraphrasing the answer that we have in here. Question number 4 says, I'm 24. Is my memory getting worse? Beatriz, could you read the answer, please? Are you driving, Beatriz?
No, miss, I'm writing in this moment.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm 24, its memory getting worse. Not yet, but it will do soon. Our memory reaches its full power at the age of 25. At that point, we can remember up to 2,000, please, 200, 200 bits of information a second. After this age, however, the brain starts to get smaller. By the age of 40, we are losing 10,000 brain cells every day. By middle age, our memory is significantly worse than when we were young.
Very good. Thank you, Beatriz. Just 2 words in terms of pronunciation. Riches, in this case, and pieces. Just to make sure that it sounds like the pronunciation that we have to assign to third person in the case of riches, and pieces. So it doesn't sound singular. Piece would be singular, pieces would be plural. Okay. This is concerning. It says that the best is when we are 25, and then after that, the decline begins. And notice the number of brain cells that die like every day by the age of 40. So it is something that we can't avoid, looks like. Question number 5. It is possible to remember early childhood. Marlon, could you read the answer, please? Marlon? Well, tell Marlon that I was asking for him. Question number 5, Valentina, could you read it? Well, actually the answer, I already read the question. Could you read it, Valentina?
Number 5.
Yes.
¿Cómo se dice la primera palabra, profe?
Scientists.
Okay. Scientists used to believe that it was impossible to remember very early childhood. But recent research shows that babies are much clever than we previously thought. Some people really can remember being a baby. Others, however, remember nothing before the age of 5 or even 10.
Thank you very much. Childhood, Valentina. And here you say begin, but it is being. Looks like begin, but it is not begin, it's being. Very good. Well, of course, everything is related to science. It depends on the person. In some cases, actually, people remember when they were babies, events, activities, what happened. Other people, similar to even to what Hamilton was sharing, can't remember anything before they were 10 years old. Of course, this topic has a lot of information that can be shared, different points of view. Probably you have already read a little bit more. We're going to keep, let's say, the information and the facts that were shared in these 5 answers. Let me see the chat. Beatriz agrees. Very good. Okay, so guys, this is what we are going to do. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, but of course, I know that you have the information here in your books, and you're going to do parts 3 and part 4. So let's see what part 3 is about. I'm going to zoom in once again. It says, read the text. We already did it. Then match the paragraphs 1 to 5 with the comments A to D. There is one extra paragraph, okay? We have already analyzed here the 4 quotations, and we have already read each answer. So we're going to match the paragraphs with the quotations that we have in here. There is one of these paragraphs from the text that you are not going to use. You have to use all the quotations that we have in here. You have to use all of them, but there is one paragraph that you are not going to use. And then you are going to do part 4. The instruction says, read the text again and decide if the statements are true or false. Correct the false ones. Guys, don't forget that part, not only to state if they are true or false. We have to make corrections. Let's read the statements. Jessica, could you read statement number 1, please?
Number 1, we remember Sentai events in our childhood because we felt strongly about them at the time.
Childhood. Don't forget the pronunciation in this case. Let's read number 2. Xiomara Caterina, please.
Number 2, when we tell a story many times, we forget important
Details. We'll see. Sebastian, could you read number 3, please? Did you?
Stephen Wilshire never forget anything.
We'll see. Let's have a look at number 4. Natalia, could you read it, please?
Science has proved that some people have a photographic memory.
Scientists.
It's
a tricky word. Number 5, Maria Vega.
Our brain stores a piece of information
separately. Number 6, Karen Victoria.
Our memory starts to get worse in middle age.
And we finish with number 7, Jorge.
It's impossible to remember anything
accurately
before the age of 5.
Very good. Well, we have a lot of adverbs tonight. Remember, guys, that the idea is that, once again, I'm going to zoom out. You have to do 2 things. Part 3, where you have to match the comments. It doesn't let me zoom out, right? Okay. Where you have to match these comments to the paragraphs that we have already read. Well, the answers of the questions, actually. And then you have to decide if these statements are true or false. This activity is going to be done in groups, okay? Of course, guys, as usual, the idea is that you help each other in order to facilitate the process of course, finding all the answers, both parts. Matching the quotations and the paragraphs and deciding if the statements are true or false. Guys, please don't forget, correct the false statements. Maybe you think that I repeat too much this, but with the other group already had the situation that they forgot to correct the false statements, but I'm sure that won't be a problem for you. I'm going, yes.
I have a question. For the number 3, the extra paragraph is possible repeat in A2 and D?
You know, actually, there is no repetition. Like each paragraph is used only once. And also each quotation is used only once. Yes?
No, I understand the paragraph, the activity for the number 3, teacher, sorry.
I mean, what you have to do on part 3 is your question, right, Beatriz?
I understand, but the number 3, I put the comments A and D for the paragraph 1 and 5.
Okay, but wait until you go to your group, you know, to socialize your answers, to see if they are similar, and then to agree. Because as I was telling you, we can't put 2 answers for the same paragraph. Because you're telling me that you used 2 of these answers in 1 paragraph, right? No, paragraph 1, in 1 of the paragraphs.
Okay.
We'll see. Okay, let me see how many of you we are tonight. Let me create the groups. No repeated names. Tan, tan, tan. Very good. Well, guys, you're going to have 15 minutes for both activities. Remember that the idea that you as a group agree on the answers, matching the statements and the paragraphs and the answers actually, deciding if they are true or false and correct the false ones. Let's start. Catherine, Marlon y Manuela, cuéntenme, ¿no les sale el link? ¿No les sale la invitación? ¿Qué podemos hacer? Marlon.
can remember.
Welcome back.
Hi, teacher.
Hello, guys. Well, let's see how it was, how similar or different our answers are. Let's begin with the first part. Remember, guys, that we had to match the statements or the quotations that people were sharing with the answer that we had in here from the expert. From group number 1, Jorge, what about paragraph 1? With quotation or with which, idea belongs to what it is being answered in the first paragraph?
The quotation, sí.
Very good. Let me also put them in the chat. We have some agreement as well. Maria says sí as well. Very good. The case of paragraph 2, did you match it to any memory from group number 2, Manuel?
For paragraph 2, teacher, it doesn't have a match in our group.
Very good. You are absolutely right, guys. Number 2 didn't have a match. That was the one, let's say, left. Let's have a look at question number 3. I would like to ask Catherine Alexandra.
Number 3 is number D.
Letter D.
Association. Letter D. Association. Because human memory is stored.
Very good. What about number 4, Hamilton? Hamilton?
Teacher, yes.
Yes.
Number 4, my grandma did know. For me is the 3 because he speaks about the connection, about smell, for example.
Smells. Could you repeat the letter, Hamilton? Sorry.
The letter D.
But D, we use it in number 3.
Then is the number 2. Is the only 2 options. We had 2 options, 2 or 3. In this case, I think then is number 2.
I mean, you mean letter B, right? Because I'm asking about question number 4. This question, to which letter you matched it.
Teacher, sorry. Yo estaba empezando por las letras. Ya.
Okay.
Not yet, but that is, can you show me please the options?
Sure.
That is B, teacher. That is B.
That is B. Okay, Hamilton, thank you. Yeah, I thought that was what's happening. You were having a look at the letters first, because when you said number 2, I was like, but we can't match number with number. But then you clarified. Thank you, Hamilton. Just in case, there you have the answers in the chat. Also keeping in mind that answer number 2 didn't really have a match, as we already said. Well, actually, it was Manuel who said that. Well, guys, let's go to the other part. Sorry, it's a little bit crazy. Where you had to decide if the statements were true or false. In this type of exercises, this can be a little bit tricky, not because you can't analyze it, of course, that's not my intention, because sometimes our opinion tends like to be way too much present in what we are reading. So in some cases, we think that our opinion is the answer, but we have, like to separate the information that is being provided from the article, which is what I am analyzing, to my opinion. So let's be careful on that aspect. Let's read once again the statements. In group number 5, I would like Beatrice to read statement number 1 and then to tell us if it is true or false.
Yes, teacher. Number 1, we remember certain events in our childhood because we felt strongly about them and the time. It's true.
Absolutely. Nothing to say in this case. From group number 6, I would like to ask Mandy to read number 2 and tell us if it is true or false. Mandy. Is Mandy here? No, my mistake. Let's see the chat. Okay, let's ask for help to, yes? Sorry, who was speaking? Okay. So Vanessa, you are in charge of helping your group, yes.
And the second is false because in the text say retelling events help to fix them in our memories.
Very good. Actually, it fixed them. That would be the idea. Excellent. Thank you very much.
False, teacher?
The second is false. Yeah, because notice what the statement says, that if we retell the story many times, then we start to forget those events. But that is not the idea. Actually, it's the opposite. The more times we repeat the story, we can fix like those memories in our minds. So we're gonna remember them better. So it is false, as Vanessa already explained. Let's have a look at number 3. Let's go back to group number 1. Jorge, could you read it, please?
Yes, teacher. Steve Wiltshire never forgets anything. It's false. He can't remember particular things for a limited time.
That's the idea. In that answer, as you remember, guys, it was being discussed, the whole concept of photographic memory, and that was one of the conclusions, right? That it's just for a limited amount of time. So it is not like he can't forget. His memory is pretty good for a certain amount of time, as Jorge has already explained. Excellent. Let's have a look at number 4 from group number 2. I would like to ask Sebastián.
Yes, teacher. Scientists have proved that some people have a photographic memory. Is false. Because in paragraph, can you show me the paragraphs, teacher, please?
Okay.
And the paragraph. 2. And in the final, this said no one has yet proved that they have a photographic memory in a scientific test.
Scientific. Yeah, it hasn't been proved. It's just a concept that exists, but there is no real like proof or research that actually can show us those real, let's say, results in terms of having a photographic memory requires this and this and this with these characteristics. It's something that like we keep on repeating as humanity. Thank you, Sebastian. What about number 5? I would like to ask from group number 3, Valentina. Valentina.
Miss, can you repeat me?
Sure. Tell me what you guys agreed on statement number 5. If it is true or false.
It's false.
And why it is false. Remember that also the correction is being requested in this exercise. Maybe someone from the group number 30 can help us. Why number 5 is false? Because it is. But why?
Yes, teacher. Um, number 5.
Yes.
Our brain stores piece of information. No one. Okay, human memory is stored in a different way. Each piece of information is connected to many other pieces.
Connected to many other pieces. Somehow in the article they use like it is a little bit messy. That's why I was asking you the meaning of messy. So we kept like the idea that it is a kind of disorganized because that's what messy means compared to how it is storage like in the computer that we already know how organized that is. Thank you very much, Xiomara, for helping Valentina to support the answer. Number 6, I would like to ask Santiago from group number 4.
Okay, teacher, the number 6 is true because according to the paragraph number 3, 3 or 4, I think, I don't remember where, it says that from the age from the 40 years old, we start to lose 10,000, I don't remember how it's said, cells from the brain.
Brain cells.
Brain cells, thank you, brain cells per week, I think.
The thing is that maybe Santiago, what we need to clarify first is the concept of middle age. Which
middle age
is middle-aged?
50 years.
Around 50, right? Let's
Around
go
50.
back to the article. It's over here. So the thing is that when we are 25 is like the highest point of good development, let's put it like that, for our memory. After 25, I mean, when we get 26 and more is when the memory begins to decrease its level, let's say, of good functionality in terms of how much we can storage in our mind. So actually, it is not until we are 40. Here they're telling us that when we are 40, the number of cells that we start losing is around 10,000. But it is after 25 that we start like decreasing the number of cells. Just like when we're 40 is 10,000, but even from 26, we start losing, let's say, our memory. So technically, at the end of the day, actually, it is false. It is not until we are 40 or 50. It's after we are 25.
Teacher, but the paragraph in the end say by middle age our memory is significantly worse.
It is worse. So that means that it started already decreasing, and then at that point it gets really, really bad. So it is not like it gets worse only, or that it starts being problematic at the age of 40. But I see your point, because here it starts to get worse at middle age. And it says that it is becoming problematic when it is 26. Well, I see now why you are pointing out that it can be true. It is like a gray area now that you pointed out like that. Interesting, yeah, because according to the text, it is problematic since we are 26, but it says it starts to get worse, right? I see your point now. Okay. I think that we can accept it as true that gets worse. I mean, like there is a decline, but let's keep in mind that it is also like, let's put it a bad development from the age of 26 and on, okay? So in conclusion, let's keep it true. I'm gonna use your answers, guys. I think that actually you make sense a lot on that one.
Yes, teacher, because begin the words, and no is only words in the middle grade.
Okay, yeah. You convince me. You have a really good point.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
Thank you, guys. That's what makes this great, that actually you manage to have a really good discussion and like to support your ideas and confront what the information is, and we can get on an agreement. Of course, if you are right, of course you are right, guys. And the last one, we have number 6. I would like to ask from group number 5. You, Beatriz, help us. 7. Well, you are group number 5. I'm going to ask you statement number 7.
Okay, number 7 is false, because the people think that can remember behind a baby.
Being
a baby.
Very good. For some people that happens like that. Also in the article, they were stating that for other people, only after they are 10, but there is that possibility to remember when they were even babies. Okay, guys, very good. That was the idea here on this exercise, analyzing the article, once again, talking about our memory. Guys, before we go, well, actually we have some minutes, but just like to let you know, especially for the ones that for any reason couldn't arrive on time. First of all, we were talking about the topic that you are gonna be using for the presentation of the project. I'm trying to zoom out, but it's not letting me. Okay. Let me share once again the screen. I'm going to speak for a moment in Spanish. Recuerden que la idea es escoger ese tema que ustedes van a usar como su base, como su topic para todo el proyecto que van a estar realizando en todo B1. Recuerden, guys, que B1 dura 5 niveles. Claro que con nuestro estilo súper intensivo, esos 5 niveles son como mes y medio, básicamente. Entonces, en este link, en este archivo no es nada del otro mundo, realmente solo están sus nombres, y pues la idea es que ustedes escriban el evento del cual van a estar hablando. Una de las preguntas que sean al inicio de la sesión es si no importaba que fueran los mismos eventos, digamos, que varias personas vayan a hablar de la graduación. Aquí ya, por ejemplo, María va a hablar del viaje de los 15 años, no hay ningún problema. Porque, repito lo que dije al inicio de la sesión, todos tenemos una perspectiva diferente de cómo vivimos ese evento. ¿Listo? Así todos hayamos ido a la misma graduación y nos hayan entregado el diploma, la perspectiva siempre será diferente y esa es la gracia, que ustedes lo cuenten desde su punto de vista. Santiago.
Teacher, sorry, could you send again the link of the document Excel document, please?
Absolutely. De hecho, también este link está en la carpeta de materiales, porque lo que hice fue colocarlo dentro de la carpeta que tenemos que se llama First Project Advance. Recuerden que aquí es donde ustedes eventualmente me van a subir ese material que van a construir la próxima semana. Entonces ahí está también. Por si ahorita que se acabe este primer bloque, entre comillas, se nos pierde, ahí también tienen el link. Vi otra mano levantada, Beatriz, cuénteme.
Teacher, tengo una pregunta con respecto a los niveles. ¿La semana de abril seguimos normal o no sabes todavía?
¿Semana Santa?
Sí, señora.
Semana Santa la tenemos libre. Sí, sí, sí.
O sea, ahí paramos y volvemos, ¿cierto?
Exacto, sí, señora. Sí, entonces en nuestro caso ese sería B1.2. Se va a sentir un poquito más largo porque arrancamos el 24, 23. El examen es el 21, arrancamos el viernes 24, tenemos la semana siguiente, alcanzamos a tener 6 sesiones, nos vamos de Semana Santa y cuando regresemos terminamos el ciclo. Entonces va a ser un poco más larguito.
Okay.
Pero sí, Semana Santa como tal la tenemos de vacaciones bien oficialmente, por decirlo así. Sí, creo que no lo habíamos hablado de forma explícita.
No.
La novena no, el Via Crucis, Jorge. Sí, listo, Beatriz. Listo. Entonces, sí, guys, no se preocupen si hay 10 graduaciones, porque al fin de cuentas, reitero, todos tenemos un punto de vista diferente. Entonces, no se les olvide, la idea es que me digan a más tardar hasta el lunes, o si no, yo les pongo un evento a mi decisión. No, mentira, yo sé que no va a pasar. Yo sé que ustedes se acuerdan, ustedes en su grupo de WhatsApp también son bastante colaboradores y ayudan bastante. Entonces van a colocar la información. Guys, bueno, y para despedirme, que apenas arrancábamos la sesión, me comentaba una cuestión la coordinadora, el próximo 14 de marzo, solo por ese día, el 14 que viene siendo martes, los 2 bloques van a estar conmigo, ¿listo? Solo por ese día la profe Laura Juliana tiene una cuestión personal, entonces el primer bloque y el segundo bloque vamos a estar trabajando, ¿listo? Ya obviamente el lunes y el resto del nivel sí seguimos haciendo como siempre, que nos vamos rotando la segunda parte de la sesión. Es solo por ese día, la coordinadora solicitó que les comentara desde hoy y también les recuerdo el lunes. Entonces, no cambia nada, digamos, lo único que cambia es que nos volvemos a ver en la segunda parte. Seguimos ingresando al link común y corriente. Entonces, les cuento eso por hoy. ¿Listo? Guys, no sé si tengan alguna pregunta. Okay, guys, as usual, thank you very much. Do not forget to write down the type of event that you will be presenting, because next week on our session number 8, we are going to start working on that. Okay, guys, have a good weekend. See you on Monday. Bye-bye.
Bye,
See you,
teacher.
teacher.
Bye, teacher.
Take care, everybody.
Bye, teacher.